Hey y'all, happy Thanksgiving. It's me, Laura. I'm going to show y'all today how I make my homemade southern chicken and dressing. So here we go. I have my cornbread that I baked off yesterday. It's best if you can bake it off a day or two before, and you want it good and dark where it's crispy around the edges because it'll hold up real good whenever you put your broth in. Over here I have my chicken broth, and you can see that's real good and rich and fatty where the chicken's cooked off in it. Here I have my chicken that I've got to debone. Over here, I have celery and onions that I've cooked off in a stick of butter. Then I have my salt, my black pepper, my poultry seasoning, and I have my boiled eggs. And here I have my stick of butter that I'm going to melt, and I'm going to put this in the pan that I'm going to pour my dressing in and bake for later.
Ready.
Okay, now we're back, and I'm going to show you how I mix it up. So I have some cornbread that's already in a pan. I'm going to take this broth, and I want to put it in here. You don't ever know how much, but you want it good and moist, and I have a lot of cornbread and it just sucks it up. But in order to have a good moist cornbread dressing or chicken and dressing, you have to add a lot of broth. And when you put this in there to cook it, the cornbread is gonna take and suck up that moisture. Cause see, I'll sit mine overnight out in the ice box, and the flavors will come together a little more. This will make a big pot of chicken and dressing. The chicken and dressing is very easy to make. You don't have to add cream of chicken soup and all that. This is very simple and tastes good. I can promise you that, because I'm always asked to bring my chicken and dressing to all of our holiday gatherings. You see that's pretty moist because when I press down in it, you can see I get some juice in the spoon. That right there is about what you're looking for. So now, I'm going to take this onions and celery and I'm going to add just to what I think is going to be enough. That adds a really good flavor. If you don't like celery, you don't have to put it in here, but I can promise you it makes a good flavor. And over here, I have my boiled eggs, because you have to have boiled eggs in dressing. They just add such a good flavor to it, and they're just good. And after I get through chopping up all these boiled eggs, I'll bring you back and I'll show you my next step. And now you see I've added all my boiled eggs and I've chopped them up. And we're just going to stir that in good. And I can tell that my broth has absorbed just a little bit more, so I probably want to add just a little bit more broth. Be sure and get all the way down at the bottom. And this is why I said you want to cook your cornbread really, really good and crispy, because it holds up good with all this stirring. And let me tell you something about cornbread. I use a cornbread mix. And I use Corn Kits cornbread mix. And I'll show you what kind I use. I use this cornbread mix right here. It has no sugar in it. You don't want to use a cornbread mix with sugar in it. Trust me, I did. And it will make your dressing turn to mush. And you'll have to throw it all out. So, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to season it up with a little salt, pepper, and poultry seasoning or sage. I just so happen to have poultry seasoning. And then I'll show you my next step. Now I'm going to show you the next step. I have my blue roaster here. I've took a stick of butter. I've melted it. I poured it in the bottom. If you notice, I have not put my chicken in yet, because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my chicken. But I'm going to take this pan and I'm going to pour it in here until I think that's going to be about good enough right there. Okay. Now here's what I do. The reason I have not put my chicken in yet. Now this is hands-on, y'all. It's cooking. If it bothers you, then maybe you don't need to be in the kitchen. But you're going to take this chicken and you're going to break up pieces. And you're just going to Put it right there. Because if you put your chicken in here while you're stirring it up, it is going to break all up into just little bitty shreds of chicken. And you're not going to have pieces of chicken. But if you'll take this chicken like this, and this is a trick I have learned, and just put pieces of chicken all over, everybody gets a hunk of chicken. And it's not shredded. So, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the next step. Ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I took all my chicken apart and I put it in here. Now here's what I want to do. I want to take it. Now my hands are clean. And I want to push all this chicken down in here. Now remember, do not put your chicken in while you're stirring up your cornbread, because it's just going to break it up. But if you do it like this, it stays in chunks, and you want to cover it up. And I'm going to tell you, that right there is how you make the best chicken and dressing. I am going to take this, and I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to cook this tomorrow for a church dinner. But before I put it in the refrigerator, I'm going to have to let it cool completely because it can spoil. But when I take it out, I'm going to uncover it. I'm going to put it in the oven. And I'm going to cook it for about 2 hours on 350 until it's set in the middle. And then we're going to enjoy some chicken and dressing with some cranberry sauce or some giblet gravy. And that's it.